$12 billion in a single funding round. Jeff Bezos just did something that almost nobody saw coming, and if you weren't paying close attention this week, you completely missed the moment the AI power structure shifted. Bezos's AI startup Prometheus just closed a $12 billion raise, landing a staggering $41 billion valuation, and the company is less than 2 years old. Let that sink in. $41 billion for a startup that most people hadn't even heard of until 72 hours ago. This is not a side project. Bezos himself is serving as co-CEO alongside a co-founder, and he has reportedly personally contributed to the round. This is the man who built Amazon from a garage into a $2 trillion empire, and he is betting the next chapter of his legacy on this. Prometheus is focused on AI engineering, meaning it's not building another chatbot. The vision, according to sources close to the company, is to build AI systems that can autonomously design, build, and deploy software at a scale no human team could match. Think of it as AI that writes AI. The implications of that are enormous. Now, what makes this story even wilder is the timing. OpenAI is reportedly valued at around $300 billion right now. Anthropic is sitting at around $60 billion. And Bezos just walked into the room with a $41 billion chip on day one. He's not trying to catch up slowly. He's buying a seat at the very top of the table immediately. The AI arms race just got a brand new combatant with essentially unlimited resources and arguably the most experienced tech operator alive running point. This is not a drill. The competitive landscape, as you understood it 1 week ago, is already obsolete. Most people were staring at the Bezos headlines this week, and because of that, almost everyone missed something genuinely fascinating happening in the open-source robotics world. A company called Ace Robotics, based in Shanghai, quietly dropped something called the Kairos World Model, and it is now leading multiple global benchmarks for what researchers call embodied intelligence. If you've never heard that term, embodied intelligence is the ability of an AI system to understand and interact with the physical world, not just generate text or images, but actually reason about space, objects, cause and effect, and physical actions. It's the missing ingredient between today's chatbots and tomorrow's humanoid robots. And Kairos is open source. That means any developer, any lab, any startup on the planet can download it right now and start building on top of it. The significance of that cannot be overstated. Every major robotics company, Boston Dynamics, Figure, Tesla's Optimus team, has been building proprietary world models in secret. Ace Robotics just handed the open source community a benchmark-topping foundation for free. Now here's where it gets conspiratorial. Ace Robotics is not a household name in Western tech circles. They have almost no English-language press coverage. No flashy Silicon Valley launch event. No Sam Altman posting about it on X. They just quietly dropped one of the most technically significant open-source robotics releases in recent memory and let the benchmark leaderboards do the talking. The timing is also interesting. This comes just weeks after several major U.S. robotics firms announced massive funding rounds and exclusive partnerships with NVIDIA. There's a pattern forming here where Chinese AI labs are systematically releasing open-source versions of capabilities that Western companies are keeping locked behind paywalls and enterprise contracts. It happened with DeepSeek in large language models. It happened with video generation. And now it may be happening with the physical world modeling layer that powers next-generation robots. The developer community on GitHub and Hugging Face has already started lighting up around Kairos. Early adopters are reporting that the model's spatial reasoning and object permanence tracking, two things that current AI systems are notoriously terrible at, are significantly ahead of anything previously available in open source. If this holds up under broader testing, the Kairos World Model could be the quiet foundation that the next generation of affordable, capable robots is built on. And almost nobody was watching when it landed. Let's talk about Anthropic, because the last 7 days have been a complete disaster for their public image, and the story is more layered than most coverage is giving it credit for. The release of Claude Fable 5 should have been a triumphant moment. By most technical accounts, Fable 5 is genuinely powerful. It's built on the same base model as their more experimental Mythos release, just with what Anthropic is calling guardrails attached. But the rollout has exploded into one of the messiest product launches in recent AI history, and there are 3 specific reasons why. First, token burn. Users immediately noticed that Fable 5 is consuming tokens at a dramatically higher rate than previous Claude models, meaning people on paid plans are burning through their usage limits far faster than before, without any warning, without any pricing adjustment announcement, and without any clear explanation from Anthropic. Second, what the community is calling silent censorship. Multiple users and developers reported that Fable 5 was refusing tasks that previous Claude models handled without issue: creative writing scenarios, security research queries, roleplay frameworks. But instead of explaining why, the model was simply deflecting, giving vague non-answers, or pretending to misunderstand the request. That second behavior pattern is particularly alarming to the AI research community because opacity in refusals makes it nearly impossible to understand or challenge where the guardrails are actually drawn. And third, the one that truly ignited the internet: a mandatory data clause buried in the updated terms of service. Users who want to access Fable 5 are now required to agree to terms that allow Anthropic to use their conversations for training data, with an opt-out process that multiple users described as deliberately difficult to find and even harder to complete successfully. Now zoom out and look at the broader industry picture this week, because Anthropic isn't the only one making moves. Google publicly told investors that Gemini 3.5 Pro, described internally as their most powerful model ever, will ship before the end of June 2026. The lighter Flash variant is already in developers' hands, and early benchmarks are generating serious excitement. Then layer in Apple's WWDC, where the company formalized something enormous that got weirdly little coverage. SiriKit is being deprecated. Done. Finished. Developers have 2 to 3 years to migrate everything to App Intense, the new framework that powers Gemini-integrated Siri. Read that again. Apple's virtual assistant is being rebuilt around Google's AI. That is one of the most significant quiet partnership revelations in Silicon Valley history, and most mainstream outlets buried it in the WWDC developer notes. The competitive implications for OpenAI, which has its own deal with Apple, are significant, and the tension there is only going to grow. Meanwhile, AI routing startups, companies that help enterprises automatically select the cheapest or most capable AI model for any given task, are suddenly drowning in venture capital. As AI API costs continue to spike and enterprises get sticker shock from their monthly bills, the business case for smart model routing has never been stronger. OpenRouter is reportedly the category leader, but investors are spreading bets across multiple players. The message from the market is clear. The model race created a pricing problem, and whoever solves the pricing problem is going to print money. This week's tool is OpenRouter, and if you're paying for more than one AI subscription right now, this one might actually save you real money starting today. OpenRouter is a single unified API and web interface that lets you access virtually every major AI model: GPT-4o, Claude Fable 5, Gemini 3.5 Flash, Llama, Mistral, and dozens more, from one place, and it automatically routes your queries to the best model for the task at the lowest available cost. Here's the concrete use case. Say you're a freelance developer. Monday morning you need to debug Python code. OpenRouter sends that to whichever coding-specialized model is cheapest right now. Tuesday you need long-form copywriting. It routes to a model with a massive context window that handles prose better. Thursday you need fast, cheap summarization for 50 documents. It uses the most cost-efficient Flash model available. You never have to think about which model to use. You stop paying for 5 separate subscriptions. You get one bill, one interface, one API key. There's a free tier to start, and the pricing on the paid side is usage-based, so you only pay for what you actually consume. Given that Anthropic just quietly jacked up effective costs with the Fable 5 token burn situation we talked about, and given that Google's Gemini 3.5 Pro is about to enter the market and shake up the pricing tiers again, having a routing layer that automatically adapts to those shifts in real time is not just convenient. It's a genuine competitive advantage. The link is in the description. Go try it today. And if you thought this was wild, you need to see what Google just dropped with Gemini 3.5 Flash last week. That video is on your screen right now.